Please be aware, in this podcast series we talk about all areas of safeguarding, which some people may find upsetting. So please make sure you're okay listening to today's topic. Be mindful of those around you, such as children, that you might not want to listen in. Hi, I'm SSS Safeguarding Director Sam Preston.
And I'm former head teacher and content author Sarah Spinks.
Today we're looking at the latest updates on keeping children safe in education, or KCsIE as we call it, for 2024. As always, the Department for Education updates this document annually for the start of the academic year in September. So this year, due to the time of recording, this is due to the July election and also the full public consultation. There are no sort of major systemic changes to the document. However, there are technical changes and there are updates that senior leaders and staff must be aware of. So let's start by talking about KCsIE's role in safeguarding practices. I think let's sort of clarify that. So let's look at how it drives practice in educational settings.
Well, KCsIE is crucial. But it's also important to be aware of other legislative requirements, such as working together to safeguard children guidance. And this document outlines that sort of multi-agency responsibilities which schools, academies and colleges, must statutorily follow.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. I mean, there's a lot of legislation, but these two documents are really the two key ones, and working together. That was updated. I mean, it hadn't been updated for a very long time. That was updated this year. And so some of the changes that we're seeing has been in KCsIE is aligning that. And there are some discrepancies within that at the moment. So let's get into the specifics of the KCsIE updates. So starting with part 1, there's a new addition to paragraph 2, and that's reminding all staff that children, now it includes everyone under the age of 18. So this is really to ensure that we don't start treating teenagers like adults prematurely.
Absolutely, Sam. It's a crucial reminder that our duty of care should reflect the needs of all children, including teenagers, who may exhibit adult-like behaviour, but are still legally children. Additionally, paragraph 3's definition of safeguarding has been updated to align with working together to safeguard children. And this emphasises early intervention and protection from harm both online and offline.
The new definition, it highlights that really no single practitioner can have a full picture of a child's needs and circumstances. So hence, everyone in contact with children has a role in identifying concerns, sharing information and taking prompt action.
Yeah, and it expands on providing help as soon as possible, problems emerge, protecting children from maltreatment and ensuring they grow up in safe, effective care. It also points out the broader range of vulnerabilities for early help, such as exploitation risks, mental health concerns, and the impact of parental circumstances.
Yeah, and that's really important, I think.
Yeah.
So let's discuss some of the specific updates in the indicators of abuse and neglect. I mean, in paragraph 24, there's now a reference to the impact on children who see, hear or experience domestic abuse. I mean, and I think this is a really critical addition, to the document.
I agree with you there, Sam. Yeah. Also, the term deliberately missing education has been updated to unexplainable and or persistent absences from education. And this again aligning with the guidance on improving school attendance that recently came out.
Yeah, and I think that just the change in language is shifting the focus, isn't it? Because I think the term deliberately missing education, it did place a real tone where when we're saying unexplainable or persistent, it actually makes you almost automatically think, what's the reason behind that?
Yeah.
Rather than language that really emphasises almost a blame culture.
Yeah, very much
So
so.
I think that's quite important. So moving on to part 2, management of safeguarding, there have been changes regarding alternative provision. We've got a new paragraph stating that schools placing pupils in alternative provision remain responsible for their safeguarding.
Yeah, and the previous positive statement about home educated children has been adjusted to recognise that not all children receive suitable education in this setting, making them less visible to the safeguarding services. And we've written quite an interesting article on that, haven't we, Sam? And recorded a podcast about that.
Yeah, and we have a podcast on the safeguarding panel report, so you can check that out on that podcast out on our website. You'll get access to that, and obviously that article as well. So, following the findings of the Child Safeguarding Practice Review Panel, there's also a new responsibility for virtual school heads to support children in kinship care. And this includes ensuring relevant training for staff on what kinship care and what that entails.
Yeah. And the section on children who are lesbian, gay, bisexual or gender questioning is under review. So notably the term trans has been removed and there are new paragraphs cautioning support for gender questioning children, emphasising the sort of clinical advice and considering the child's broader needs.
Yeah. And in part 5, regarding child-on-child sexual violence and harassment, the definition of early help has been changed, and that's to align with working together to safeguard children. So it's now about support that improves family resilience and outcomes or prevents problems from worsening.
There are also minimal changes related to prevent duties, but all staff should be aware of the new definition of extremism, which was published in March 2024. So extremism now includes the promotion of ideologies based on violence, hatred or intolerance aimed at undermining democratic rights or creating permissive environments for such actions.
All right, okay. So lastly, let's touch on Annex C. We've got a re-edition of Skype as a contact method for designated safeguarding leads and deputies. So I'm not quite sure, it was taken out, it's now back in. Also, the requirement for record keeping, that's been updated to emphasise detailed, accurate and secure written records of all concerns and decisions.
Yeah, as a new legislative highlight, the Online Safety Act is now law in the UK. And this law places responsibilities on social media companies to protect children online, enforce age checking measures and remove harmful content promptly.
Yeah, and really important to be aware of the Online Safety Act and the measures that are being phased in. It's not possible to introduce all the measures within the Act straight away because there's work to be done and there's consultations which are happening as well with service providers that their services are going to have to be developed so that they can alter how their algorithms and things are serving things to children and whatnot. So it's important to keep an eye on that, and that's why we've included it in this update. So there's a lot of important updates, and it's crucial. All educational professionals, they've got to be aware of these changes and also think, how does that impact on my role in safeguarding children?
Absolutely, Sam. For more detailed information, educators should refer directly to the updated KCsIE document and the additional legislative guidance. I'd also recommend completing our SSS Learning KCsIE 24 update course. Have you got the details of that, Sam?
Yeah, we've got 2 courses this year, 2 short courses, one designed for senior leadership and governance with all the comprehensive details that they need to know, and another for all other staff, which contains the pertinent aspects crucial for them to adhere to their statutory duties. So that will be produced and ready for the start of the academic year. You can watch out for that appearing on our website. And if you're a Suite customer, that'll be automatically added. But do remember, in addition to our update course, staff, everybody, you are required to read the relevant parts of KCsIE each year. So that's the relevant parts to your role. So it is a case of ensuring that you do both.